You boys look like a weird heavy metal band.
Yes, we are a band.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you play?
Symphonic, post-apocalyptic, reindeer-grinding, Christ-abusing, extreme war, pagan, Fennoscandic metal.
Right. Really interesting.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast, doing another top 10. This time I'm doing the top 10 TV horror movies of all time, according to me. A little bit of backstory. Of course, I was born in 1970, so I'm kind of an old dude. But, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's proven to me, kind of now thinking about it all, that growing up during that time, you know, TV horror was kind of the way it shaped the way my horror taste went. Like, because by the time like between 80 and 83, I can't remember specific year that HBO came out, you didn't really have the movie channels. So like, and I was, you know, even though my babysitter throughout the 70s took me to stuff like Jaws at age 5, which, you know, I pleaded with her and still had nightmares, but it's not her fault. I wanted to go and still enjoyed the film and saw it as a drive-in. But most of the horror that I was exposed to was through TV. And so during the late 70s, early 80s was a prime time of great TV, made for TV horror movie stuff. And it can range from ghosts, monsters, slashers, vampires, kaiju. And so you get a little bit of everything that happens. But they had a knack for making very good TV horror. Like when you really think about it, on like even some other stuff that I've been checking out more recently, even though it didn't really resonate. I love seeing a lot of these established actors and actresses that would go on to have big careers following some of this stuff. And so we're going to explore some of that as we go through my top 10 list. And I'll give you, a little placard card that I'm going to show everybody which the picks are. But then I've got some trailers for them. Some are kind of grainy because they're old, but there's a couple that one is just basically music to the stuff, but you still kind of get the gist of what's going on in the film. And then the other one is just like a snippet from the beginning of a movie because they didn't really have a trailer for it, but I'll explain that when I get there. But let's dive right into it, man. So at number 10 is Trilogy of Terror. Now, 1975. It's 3 bizarre horror stories, an anthology of all which star Karen Black in 4 different roles, playing 4 tormented women. And you can see from the cover there that little zombie, or like it's a little miniature like troll or whatever the fuck it is. Like back then, dude, that thing, because it's in the final act of the film, and so it's really the best part, the third one. But that little thing, dude, was terrifying. And even now, if you go back and watch it, like that whole scene is just like scary as fuck. Little voodoo doll thing. And so that still resonates. Like, even though I don't really care about much of the other part of the anthology, this particular episode in it was good enough to like stick with me. Now there was an anthology I do like. It's called Something of the Unknown, which came out probably a few years earlier. But again, I had 10 to choose from, so I had to really be selective about what I chose. But let's check out the trailer for Trilogy of Terror.
Demonology, pornography, Satanism, voodoo, witchcraft. These books aren't just relics, Mr. Anmar. She uses them to capture the souls of others. My sister enjoys inflicting pain.
And here, you drugged me last night, didn't you? Why would you do something this sick?
Do I make you nervous, Doctor?
No, dear. I've killed him.
Dude, I literally still got goosebumps from that final scene. That's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. At number 9, this actually was just done on Kevin Lammert's The Internet Headquarters channel for his retro movie classics. And coming in at number 9 is Steven Spielberg's debut, Duel. Starring Dennis Weaver. And the plot is a business commuter is pursued and terrorized by a malevolent driver of a massive tractor trailer. So if you are looking for a more in-depth review of that film, go to the Entertainment Headquarters channel, and he has it up there, and the retro movie classics that he does on his segment that he does on his channel. So that was like in my top 10 Steven Spielberg movies. It popped up in this one for a TV movie. Very well done. He enjoyed it. And so let's give this trailer a whirl. This is for Duel.
Get back in the bus, please. Please, come on, back in the bus. Hey, stop!
Straight and to the point. So yeah, that's Duel from 1971. So this is about 4 years before Spielberg did Jaws. At number 8, from 1978, Devil Dog, The Hound of Hell. I actually saw this while I was on vacation with my family. So I was about 8 years old when this came out on TV. And everyone else was falling asleep. And so I was in bed. I was like, I'm going to watch this. I'm really into this. This is pretty creepy as shit. Stars Richard Crenna and Kim Richards, who also was in Assault on Precinct 13. And then she showed up in Tough Turf, opposite of James Spader, later on in the 80s. So she actually has another role in another movie that's in my list. But this one is a dog that is a minion of Satan terrorizes a suburban family. And again, maybe now watching it probably wouldn't have the same effect. But at 8 years old, man, you know, plus I love animals. So they, you know, in a way you like the puppy, but you don't like the puppy because, you know, the puppy does bad things. And so let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Devil Dog, The Hound of Hell. And of course, Richard Crenna, very infamous for First Blood and the Rambo series. So my bad, wrong one. Here we go. Sorry.
Something different about him.
I think you're imagining things.
What's the dog? He kept saying it was the dog next door that forced him to kill all those people.
Send your demon. You know, I think you're crazy.
You have the special strength to resist the beast.
Send your demon, your son.
Bargain! 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 Bargain!
Send the beast. Send him now.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It looks like R.G. Armstrong is in that as well as one of the guys in the cloaks, and he appears, of course, in another film later in my list. But then also he was the sheriff, I believe, in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So if you recognize him there, pretty good actor from back then. Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe it wasn't Killer Clowns. That might be a different guy I'm thinking of, but he appears in my another part of my list here. So number 7, this is another film that Mr. Lambert and I reviewed. This time it was for Cinematic Synergy, and from 1977. For anyone that knows that my hobby is spiders, this is Tarantulas: The Deadly Cargo, starring Claude Atkins as well as Tom Atkins. And an airplane carrying coffee beans from South America has some unpleasant stowaways, a horde of tarantulas which overcome the pilots as the airplane is flying over an orange-producing town in California. The airplane crashes, and other unlucky inhabitants of the town release the poisonous spiders into their midst. Now, I was telling Kevin that, you know, looking at the spiders involved in the film, none of them are poisonous. In fact, there's never been a recorded death from a tarantula bite. Now, you have other spider species, so you think like the banana spider, which is Brazilian, would have that effect. It can kill you. Or something like the funnel web from Australia. Those are very strong venomous spiders. Now, people are like, well, what's the difference? Well, tarantulas are arachnids that are kind of built differently than spiders, even though they're the same type of species. Now, it doesn't mean to say that some of the spiders I had that are old world do have strong venom. If I got bit, it'd make me sick. It just wouldn't kill me. Unless there's like, you know, allergic reaction. So say if you're allergic to bee stings or some shit like that, a bite from a old world spider like an OBT or maybe a pokey could complicate series with you if you're allergic to that kind of stuff. But yeah, I remember this came out, and again, despite now knowing more knowledge about spiders in general and especially tarantulas because of my research and how I have like 16 species right now, you know, I have a better understanding of them. But at the time, you know, I was probably about 7 years old. Maybe it might have been a couple years later. I don't know. I saw it when it came on TV, and usually they don't repeat it. It might have came on again during the 80s. I don't remember, but I do remember seeing this young. And so this is one also, as we'll see, this is just a clip from the beginning of the movie. There was no official trailer. So yeah, here we go with that.
Aircraft flying northerly routes from Mexico City. There is a severe storm developing in the Gulf of Mexico with possible accompaniment of high-velocity winds. Suggest alternate routing.
It don't look like nothing but bad out there.
Yeah, we're going straight through, partner. We miss that jughead in San Francisco, we're left with a lap full of coffee beans.
Yeah. That looks like a couple of good saddles over there to the west.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay, watch it. It's roughing up.
Got it.
Freddie, piece of cake. You seem pretty calm. Yeah, who's calm? Ride him.
So there's a little clip just from that's how the movie starts out basically, and they end up crashing out of town and then releasing all these spiders into the wild. And like I said, the species that they show aren't old world species. Oh, it looks like Mexican redlegs, maybe Brazilian white knees and stuff like that. They're harmless and usually docile. So okay, number 6, 1978. Could label this as a kaiju movie of sorts, but it's more it was, I don't know, it's kind of fished out to be almost romantic in some ways, but it does have some mysteriousness and creepiness about it, and that is The Bermuda Deaths, starring Leigh McCloskey and Carl Weathers. An early role for him. Obviously, if you know Carl, he went on to have a great career in the Rocky series, Predator, Action Jackson, and even some of the Star Wars stuff before his death. May he rest in peace, but a great actor. Plot is scientists investigating the briny deep are threatened by a giant turtle in the spirit of a young brunette swimmer in the Bermuda Triangle. So yeah, even though I was young, the music at times, like I think it's Jenny's theme is like the end of it. Like it's a very pretty song and kind of because our main guy in the story grew up with this girl and then never saw her again once she went into the ocean. So he didn't realize that she was like the spirit. But again, we have this turtle that was young, grows up and is enormous and becomes like, I wouldn't say a predator, but clearly it's a guardian of sorts. And it's been a while since I've watched it. I do have it on DVD now, but this trailer basically is just music to it. It doesn't really tell you anything. But I would definitely highly recommend to go check it out. I think they even had the full length on YouTube or something. Most of these you probably could find on YouTube. That's how we watched Tarantulas: The Deadly Cargo. And I think I did find Duel on TV, but the reality is you can find a lot of these on YouTube because they're so old and they don't really care about the copyrights all that much. But here is basically their version clip of the Bermuda Deaths.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'll go sailing. It's far beyond the stars, it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet beyond the shore, we'll kiss just like before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing.
So yeah, there you go. All right. Getting into the top 5. We're going right back to Spitus because that's just how it works here. So in 1977, there was another movie. And some of these movies I just started watching, not knowing like what they were about. Like I just caught them at the right moment when they were starting. So I remember like looking at the early part of this film, and this guy's walking his chick out to his car because he's going to take her around from this bar or restaurant or whatever. And then all of a sudden she gets like this menacing look and her eyes get kind of weird. And then the guy screams. And so you don't really see much. So I continue to watch, and, you know, the cops show up and they're talking, and then they say, well, we have a witness, but it's kind of confusing what he's saying. And so they go, well, let's just hear it out. And so the witness says, yeah, I didn't see it happen, but at the top of the hill, I saw a giant spider. So I'm, of course, talking about Curse of the Black Widow, starring Anthony Franciosa and Vic Morrow. A private detective named Mark Higby is on the trail of a murderer whose mutilated and predominantly male victims are found encased in silken cocoons. He eventually tracks the killer's path to Los Angeles, where he discovers her true identity. And yeah, man, this movie is pretty good, especially for its time. Like, you know, you're not, and again, practical effects. Now it's funny because at the time that I watched it as a kid, I don't remember them kind of showing the spider before the end, but there was another moment where there's like the girl and her mother, and, you know, but apparently it's just some like genetic thing handed down. But let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Curse of the Black Widow. There you go. Yep. Still pretty good. I think I revisited it like a couple years ago, so it still has pretty good effect. We see a lot of CGI and stuff like that. Actually, and practical effects got better. So like there was like, if you remember the TV series Monsters from like the late 80s, early 90s, like they had a cool episode where a man and a woman were married and they went to this hotel, like they thought it was like this big getaway, and they were duped. So the money was taken, and once they got into the room locked them out, so they couldn't get out. And so the only thing they had in there was a closet with former people with wedding dresses and tuxes, and then like the only bed was like this laid out like sort of like webbing. And the guy, kind of goofing off, lays back and gets stuck. So now she's kind of like, oh shit. And the only thing behind was like this elevator, the shaft type thing. And so they hear the elevator come down, and of course at some point in the episode a big spider shows up, and of course it's a battle between the girl and the spider who's going to get the fuck out, right? So the effects are kind of similar in that way, the creepy crawlies. And now of course we have a lot more CGI. Like I know we're going to be doing a review with Kevin Lambert for Sting and Infested. So, but it's just very interesting that even now, like spiders just kind of draw in that inanimate fear that we have of things. But let's move on to number 4. And this is 1980s The Children, starring Martin Shakar. A nuclear plant leak turns a busload of children into murderous atomic zombies with black fingernails. This was another one that I just started watching from the beginning. Like I didn't really know, it just said children. I didn't have no idea what it was about. I just know that it starts off pretty quickly, like the kids disappear, and then all of a sudden I see this hand on a tombstone in the graveyard, because where the bus ends up is next to a cemetery, and black fingernails. And so that caught my attention. I'm like, ooh, okay. It's kind of creepy. Let's see what's going on with this. And then we turned out to find out the kids, like, as they're appearing back to their parents or people in random who were looking for them because they're all missing. If they hug you, you start to burn, like whatever it's a radiation or whatever's inside the hands of the kids destroys them, the humans. So let's go ahead. You check out the trailer for this in case you have not seen it.
It's time you believed in a new kind of horror. The horror of the children. Something you wouldn't dare to imagine has happened to the children. Something beyond your worst fears.
Jenny. Jenny, darling, is that you? Mama.
Something evil is happening, and it's happening inside the children.
I said to stop it! Cut it out! Stop it! Please don't. Damn it, the phone's dead. And both gone mad. He was shooting the children.
The children will take you one step beyond horror to sheer terror. Something terrifying has happened to the children. Pray you never meet them.
Pray you'll never meet them. Yeah, I never saw that before that, but I still checked it out because, as a kid, I was very curious about horror and stuff. So when HBO came out in the early 80s, that was another a whole new level of like horror. But you know, like I said earlier, I think TV horror like really exposed me and kind of guided me into the horror genre because of some of these movies that were just well put together. I mean, we can look back and say they're kind of dated and stuff like that, but for the time that they were made, it was like the best shit ever. Number 3, they actually are just, from what I understand, doing a reboot of this. So it's either going to be good or bad. We don't know. But that is, of course, 1979's Salem's Lot, starring David Soul and Jeffrey Lewis, the late Jeffrey Lewis. A novelist and a young horror fan attempt to save a small New England town which has been invaded by vampires. Based on a Stephen King novel. If you're not familiar, get familiar with it. It's a very, very good TV movie. In fact, very creepy with the music, especially with the vampires. Can't remember the young kid's name, but he's kind of floating in the fog to his friend's window. It's like on the second story, and he's tapping and clawing at the glass and trying to hypnotize his friend to let him in. Creepy shit, man. Very creepy shit. Jeffrey Lewis does an amazing job in this. He went on to do things in other horror. Also is like what is Zombie's second film in the trilogy? Devil's Rejects. He was in that. But yeah, let's check out the trailer for Salem's Lot.
Ben Mears has been away too long. And now at last, he's come home.
The men fought at Valley Forge.
Daddy, come back safe.
Home to the childhood memories, to the old familiar faces, to a life unmolested by time.
And with your saints, let him rejoice in your presence forever. We ask it through Christ our Lord, amen.
Home to Salem's Lot, a town too good to be true.
What was that?
Did you happen to notice the time when the boys left?
We shouldn't have gone through the woods.
It's a shortcut.
Well, they should have been here half an hour ago.
Wait! Danny, wait!
Something is happening. Something terrible.
Henry! Where's Ralphie? Ralph.
Where's your brother?
First the kid disappears, then this. You're not leaving Salem's Lot, are you?
I'm not leaving. Don't you understand what's happening?
You?
Yes, I do. It's in the Marston house. Good evening. I dreamed. You slept there all night? Yeah. A little tired. Didn't sleep much last night. I was dreaming. Somebody out there.
Sweet dreams.
I let him in.
Oh, it's only all just happened
Since I came here.
It wasn't a dream.
Stop, holy man! You can do nothing against the master.
They're breeding on one another. The vampires are creating vampires.
The master wants you.
It's a geometric progression. 2 times 2 times 4 times 8.
There's a dead man upstairs.
Bill! Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Look at me. Ned Tibbetts' body has disappeared from the morgue.
Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Bill!
And Susan's in there.
Run! No! Look at him!
Stephen King, the best-selling author of Carrie and The Shining, takes you on a startling journey to Salem's Lot.
Yeah. Definitely well made, considering TV. I think at the time when I saw it was done in 2 days, so it was like one of those mini series that they were doing. But very good, great movie. Very effective, horror wise, obviously. And that brings us to number two, 1977. Can't remember exactly where I saw it. I keep wanting to say I saw it on vacation somewhere because a lot of this stuff was being released around the same time when my family used to do a lot of vacationing, driving from different states and Hawaii and stuff like that. So uh, it brings us to 1977's The Car, which they did a sequel recently, which I have not watched and I heard was just terrible. But this one starred James Brolin, Kim Richards again, and R.G. Armstrong, who I mentioned before. A small desert town is terrorized by a powerful, seemingly possessed car, and the local sheriff may be the only one who can stop it. And yeah, again, like when I saw this, I just started watching. I remember just seeing the point of view where the car is driving, and I'm thinking, wow, what is this? Is this just a car driving, or? And then early on, the car like runs over a biker, and I'm like, oh wow, so okay, what do we got going on here? And again, just it was able to capture your attention fast. Like even if you didn't know trailers or anything else going into the film, if you sat down and just started watching it, it gets you intrigued and hooks you in. And yeah, I still like it a lot. Even the ending is still cool as shit. I still remember the ending and how the almost demonic sound comes out of the car. But here is the trailer for 1977's The Car.
Evil has visited the earth in many forms. Now it returns as the car.
There was no driver in the car.
The car possessed.
I know why he didn't go into the cemetery. The ground was hallowed.
Who knows what it wants? They all know nothing can stop the car.
This is Wade! We can't let him through no matter what! Stay in close! You'll have to stop!
There's nowhere to turn.
The car, he's in here!
Nowhere to hide. No way to stop the car.
I think I hear the engine of that car. It's around here somewhere. Wait, I'm scared. No, I promise you I won't go out. Tell me what to do, baby.
What evil force drives the car?
Yep, good stuff. Yeah, the funny thing about that movie and also with Duel is that, like with Duel, the driver of the truck, you never find out who it is. That's part of the mystery. And then with the car, obviously we know there's some sort of possession or demonic force at work, but we don't know its purpose or why. It's just there. Doesn't never gets explained, but that's sort of the appeal to it. I don't know if they try to like elaborate on that in the sequel they did a few years ago, but it's better off if you don't know. Like I like the whole premise of the original and what it stands for and all that. So, all right, well, it brings us to number one. I actually did a review of this a couple years ago. Still one of my favorite movies ever, really, especially in horror. And the fact that it's a TV horror speaks volumes. It is, of course, 1981's. In fact, it's the only one to break into the 80s, but certainly worth it, is Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, starring Charles Durning, Larry Drake, and Lane Smith. In a small southern town, 4 vigilantes wrongfully execute a mentally challenged man. But after the court sets them free, mysterious accidents begin to kill them off one by one. Larry Drake is an amazing actor. He's passed on, unfortunately. But he would go on to do this to 92's Dr. Giggles, and he is fucking amazing. Like, if you've never seen Dr. Giggles, dude, it's a great horror film. A lot of great comedy, a lot of great lines. It features, don't remember the actress's name, but she went on to do Charmed a few years later. But she's in that, and just really, really great. But this film, like, it has a lot going for it that is more than just horror. And it's kind of like one of those films where I remember when I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, right? I went to the theater to see that. And because of the comedy and because the kids were able to kind of fight back in the dreams, there's like this tension relief. So I do love my horror where like there's no tension relief. Like you just have to suffer through it. Like it's so much dread and horror and thriller. So take like The Howling, there isn't much tension relief in that, whereas American Werewolf in London does. So you get those really dramatic, horrific moments, but then you're kind of lighten the mood a little bit. Films don't always do that. With Dark Knight of Scarecrow, it's very cool because you can actually empathize with Larry Drake's character here. He's just befriending a young girl. I don't want to give too much away in case no one's seen it, because it probably is available on YouTube. Although it's probably on some of these Roku apps now too. I've seen it up here and there. Highly recommended. But he befriends a girl, and something happens to the girl. So he brings the girl home, but it immediately turns to, oh, he must have raped and harmed her in some way, which sets these vigilantes on his ass. And but it's just very heartwarming because the girl still has an impact throughout the film with him. And of course, Drake's character is called Bubba. So I can't recommend this enough. Like, in fact, all these films I think are great on some level. So obviously, there's a reason they're in my top 10. If you have not seen them, be sure to check them out. But here is the trailer for Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
The hiding. I can play it. Good, Mama.
Come on. Looks like they lost him. That's impossible. Same as he did last time.
Well, they think it's a scarecrow.
Harlan,
What now?
have you started planting?
What?
I said, have you started planting?
What's the matter with you? Can't you see I'm busy? You ever see me planting this time of year?
Oh, no.
Well, why do you ask a lame-brained thing like that?
Well, I just thought it's kind of strange. I mean, if you're not planting, why would you put up the scarecrow?
Yeah, why would you?
Just for you and me.
Told you it was Bubba.
No, it wasn't, damn it. Bubba didn't tell you that. Bubba didn't tell you anything. Bubba's dead.
I know.
We killed him!
Don't worry, Mrs. Ritter. Bubba's not gone. He's just being silly. Don't you know what he's doing? He's playing the hiding game.
There you go. Dark Knight Scarecrow. Now, some of these were not like legitimate trailers, but you got a little idea of what's going on. Yeah, I enjoyed doing this. I love all these films for various reasons, and it was kind of hard putting it together. Like, you know, it just depends on your mood. Some days, some might be a little higher than others, but and some I have to go back. Like, I haven't seen Devil Dog in a very, very long time. But you know, like I said, YouTube really has like a lot of these full lengths for free, just that people upload. So if you can find them, check them out, man. Let me know your thoughts. What are your lists? Do you have any list of even your top 10 TV movies of horror? I can't even really think. Like, obviously, I remember when Dog Soldiers came out with Ginger Snaps on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's when I first saw both of those. But you really can't technically call them TV movies because those were legitimately made movies just thrown onto a network. But yeah, if you have some that you think I've missed or I need to check out, be sure to let me know. I'm always game for new stuff or stuff that I haven't found. In fact, I will give this challenge to anybody. Okay, like, this is all I can give you because nobody has been able to figure this movie out for me, what it is. All I can tell you, and it's not much, but all I can tell you is at the very end of the film, there's a woman with a knife. There's blood everywhere. And then as the credits roll, it's black screen. The credits are rolling. You hear like demonic voices saying something to the effect of, yeah, next time we'll do it to the woman or make the woman the victim or something. I think the idea was this time it was possession of a woman killing men or whatever. Some people said, oh, it's Suspiria. Well, no, it's not that. It's definitely not that. But the key is the end credits. There are demonic voices talking while the credits are rolling, and they're saying something to that effect, or like next time it's to be the woman. That's all I can give you. No one's been able to ever tell me what that movie is or remember what it is. If you have ideas, please give it to me so I can go see if this is the fucking movie I've been thinking about for many years. I want to say it's a late 70s or early 80s horror film. Can't tell you 100% guaranteed that it's a TV movie. I do believe it was. But yeah, just let me know. And if you have any ideas, pop them out there. I'd be glad to see them. And later today, I will be on the Sci-Fi Century channel. We will be discussing the Alien franchise, I believe. That's his plan, to talk all things Alien. So I'll be throwing in some of the Alien versus Predator shit in there too, because I like talking about that. But be sure to stop by there. I think it's 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock my time. So be sure to, that'd be Eastern. So if you're interested in discussing it, I think we're doing it live. So be around and check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, please. Any support you can give us is greatly appreciated. And we already appreciate those that are supporting our channel. And as always, give me great ideas for content if you want, for any kind of trailer reactions, reviews. We're always looking for inspiration or something that we have not checked out yet. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next time on the Metal Time Radio Podcast.